My name is Daniel Carroll, and I am 20 years old. My name is Amber Hudson, and to me, Amber is just the more, I guess, amped up version of myself and more comfortable version of myself, which is kind of weird to say, but a lot of the time I feel a lot more myself and a lot more comfortable doing what I do when I'm in drag. As a whole, I think that Amber is just all of the crazy thoughts in my brain that happen throughout the day, just in a person. And that's what I like the most about drag is just staying true to myself. So I think the main inspiration was RuPaul. I was in middle school and my girlfriend at the time showed me RuPaul's Drag Race and I was like, that's crazy. Men dressing up in wigs. Like I would never. And I went home and binged season upon season and I kind of like resonated with the art form in a way and that's really what led to it. I think RuPaul had like the biggest impact just because she kind of rolled over and started the drag scene in a way. So directly after, I'm pretty sure middle school, it was my freshman year of high school when I started like dabbling in makeup and all of that stuff. I've definitely faced a lot of struggles, especially being in West Virginia. I grew up in Beckley, West Virginia, which is a very small town. I think that it made it a lot more difficult to get people to understand the art form compared to like Chicago or New York. It's just a more conservative state, just bad in my opinion. There were a lot of death threats. My mom got death threats and she's like 5 hours away. It really proved to me that like we have overcome a lot as a community and I've overcome a lot as a drag queen, but there's still so much work, especially here, to do locally. So I have a really intense routine normally during my performances, especially like the prep work. So starting out, it would take me, no joke, like 4 or 5 hours, which is crazy looking back. But nowadays, I can get in like full drag normally within like an hour and a half. So I got an opportunity last year to open for Chapel Roan. um, she basically, throughout her experience as a performer herself, has resonated like with the drag community, and she has made it a goal for every show that she performs at, whether any city, she contacts local artists and local drag queens of that city to come and open for her for the large crowds. So I got a little DM from Chapel Roan last year, and I obviously said yes because I was like, "Whoa, this is like a major opportunity." But that night ended up being one of the best experiences of my life. And even if I were to ever quit drag, I feel like that memory would always be like engraved in my brain. I do a lot of like fundraising events and things. We just now did an event back in, I think it was either December or January, for the Saga Initiative, which is like a local nonprofit here in town that raises money for transgender youth and transgender care packages. I do a lot of work like that just because I feel like that is the main goal of all of this, is to continue to raise awareness and make people who may not know of certain opportunities that there is access to help and you're not alone. Goal with every performance is there can be 1,000 people in the room and only one person will be impacted by it. But as long as one person sees what I was trying to do and is inspired, I feel like that's the end goal. I really just like when people are not only like inspired by my performances in my drag, but also just they kind of find like an attachment within it and within themselves. And that's something that I really kind of like to do with my performances. I like to make an impact and make people think. That's like the main goal for me in drag. And I think that's kind of like the main goal in drag in general, is to be so viciously yourself that it can entertain a crowd. And I think that every drag performer often has that power. It's just kind of like the aspect of growing into it and getting comfortable with it.